Hi guys, and thank you so much for tuning in. So today I show you the daily madness as an artist. I was recently invited for the upcoming group show Flower Child at Modern Eden Gallery in San Francisco. And this is my most favorite gallery. I really love them. All the art they show is absolutely amazing. They are located in one of the most important cities in the world, in my opinion. And I really want to make something amazing for them. Before we start, if you like to watch more painting tutorials from me, head over to my Patreon page and select the $5 reward tier. You get instant access to over 30 painting tutorials, which you can download, insights into my working progress, helpful art material posts, and I answer all of your questions. For $10 a month, you get exclusive access to my live stream and real-time painting videos. For $15 and more, you get beautiful art surprises, fine art prints, original watercolor illustrations, and much more. These two are my tries for it. So the first one is this one, and although it is like a nice painting and I really like it, and this is why I decided to put the video up here so that you can see like the process and how I did it. It wasn't as good as I wanted to make it for the Modern Eden show. So it is definitely a good artwork for maybe a smaller gallery or just something different or personal. I would be totally happy with this artwork. But since I really want to make something great for this show, I thought, okay, the things that I didn't like with this painting is that they are very strong and dark colors here. And with watercolor, I just don't think that it should be too heavy. So watercolor should be very light. However, I implemented some new techniques on this painting. For example, I used some stamps, and I think here too and here as well. And so I thought it's definitely interesting for you. And as I said, I think the painting is okay, but I just wanted to have it more lighter, more lightweight, not so heavy. And so I did the same one again. So I think for this one I spent maybe like 4 days, and then the other one I did in 1 day. And this is the other one. And also this looks nice. So I didn't finish it actually, but I wouldn't have done a lot more. So I think this is also a nice painting, but also this one isn't like quite the standard that I want to show in a gallery. I think as a light watercolor drawing and as a maybe something that shouldn't be like super perfect, it is also good, and I also like the colors. So this is a nice one too, but it also didn't meet my expectations. So I decided to do something completely different, and I already started this painting. It isn't the same motive and not the same subject as these two here. I will show you a little glimpse of my newest piece at the end of the video. Yeah. This is the madness that I face as an artist. I just want to give the very best, and even if some other people say like this painting is good, I really like it, I like it too, but I personally need to be happy with them. So this is totally normal for me. Like, don't think that I'm just got crazy. Like, this is normal for me. I just start over pieces so often. For a recent show I did with La Bodega Gallery in San Diego, I think I created actually 5 pieces before I finally was happy with the result. And in the end, the piece also found an owner. I was really happy that I had this painting in my portfolio, and I was also happy that I didn't took my first approaches, although they were okay. But I think in the end it is the most important thing that you as an artist are happy with what you do. And for example, if a painting doesn't sell in a show, but you gave your best and you know that this is a good painting, then you did everything you could, and it is not your fault if the piece doesn't sell, or if just the right collector wasn't there and not the person who would like to have it have seen it. But if you know, okay, I didn't do everything I could, and then your painting doesn't sell, well, this would be awful, right? You would regret that you haven't put all the energy into it. And this is basically my mindset, and I go really to length to try to give the best with some of my paintings. Sometimes I have maybe shows, or I know that this work doesn't have to be super perfect, so I don't want to pressure myself all the time, but I have to be happy with my paintings. And yeah, this is how I do it. This is the way I go. I toss away a lot of my stuff, and some of it is in my drawer, like sketches and such things, and some paintings I even remove from their canvas frames and put them away. So this happens too. But this doesn't happen so often. I think this year only 2 paintings where I painted halfway through and then put them away. So this happens too a lot. With this painting, I really tried out some new things that I find very interesting. So in my last video, I already warned you that I will buy some stamps and try them out. And I did it. So I went a little bit overboard, and I bought for 50 euros stamps at Amazon. And for 50 euros, you get a lot of stamps. And I should have maybe bought only 1 stamp and then try if it works, but I think I learned a lesson not just to buy everything. Yeah, so the stamps were okay. The patterns were beautiful, so I bought some butterflies, I bought some like Indian patterns and some amazing really flowers that you can assemble. And I also read your comments, so that I have to pay attention and that I don't infringe any copyrights. And what I think won't happen, because I don't just stamp them and then that's it. I paint over them as well, and I also let them kind of flow into my painting so that you don't really see that it is a stamp, I think. But I will definitely be aware of it, and if anything happens, I will be prepared for it. So the stamps were nice, and I initially thought that I could just put white acrylics, for example, on the stems and then stamp them over a darker area, but this didn't work at all, which was a bit frustrating because I wanted to have those tiny little patterns, but the white acrylic ink wasn't opaque, so this was a little bit annoying. So what I did then instead was and I didn't use any inks, so I was too lazy to buy inks. I just bought the stamps and thought, well, I have acrylic inks, this is basically the same. So I just did like a flat area on my palette with the ink, with the color I want, and put the stamp on it, or I just painted the ink directly on the stamp and carefully stamped it on the painting. And I also used frog tape, which I happened to have, this ugly green tape, but it's useful to protect the areas I don't want to have the stamp go over. And I think because those stamps have a very different style, so they break the style. I think they don't fit into every artwork, but I will definitely try them out and try to learn and try to apply them, because I already spent like 50 euros. I can't just put them away and give up, right? So I think they're nice, and especially for what I used them was great. So I recently made shipping labels for my prints, and I wanted to have a beautiful shipping label for them, and I used some of the stamps, like butterfly stamps, and I drew a little drawing, and all of my print orders will now have those nice labels on them. And what I discovered as well, which was very helpful while I drew and painted, is the positioning of my drawing. So basically I just paint and draw my watercolor and my mixed media paintings on the table. And normally I really get headaches and pain in my neck because of this position. And because I wanted to record the video footage in a better quality and closer to the painting, I needed to come up with a different solution. And what I did was that I just put the complete drawing on an easel. Like I backed it with I taped it down on, I don't know, like a wooden plate or something, and then I put it on a little easel for the table. And in addition, because I really need to relatively strongly press onto the paper, I needed to back the easel as well. So I put like heavy stones. We have like brick stones here. We just collected them and put them in our studio because sometimes we need them for weight, for just to press things. So we have some of those brick stones and books, and I placed them all at the back of the easel so that I could press as heavy and as strong as I wanted, and the easel doesn't give in. So this was super helpful. And I don't know, I think you will not see it, but I changed the position from the table to the easel, and now you can really see my drawing process in close-up, and hopefully it helps you. So this was a nice invention I want to share for anyone who wants to protect their neck and not want to get headaches, because for me, when I first get pain in the neck from the very unhealthy position, and after that I get directly headaches, which is super annoying. So definitely listen to your body. This is very, very important. And I kind of discovered or invented a technique to paint hydrangea blossoms, which is just based on 2 brushes you need. So one brush is for the contour of one of these blossoms, and another brush is for the inside. And I just mixed, you see it when I fill out all these hydrangea blossoms on the painting. In the end, I wasn't happy that I filled out everything, but with the hydrangea blossoms I was happy. So I filled out every single blossom just with the contour and with the inside. So sometimes I started with the inside of every blossoms, and then with, for example, one color, like a yellowish green color, wet and wet. So and then I add the contour of each blossom, and then those 2 colors merge into each other, and this resulted in a very natural blossom. And for some blossoms I, for example, started with the contour and then with the inside, and these little 2 changes resulted in 2 different ways on how every individual blossom looks like in the end. I hope this was not too complicated, but with watercolor you can really use the water and the flow and the effects that they do randomly. So it is really crazy, but depending on how much water you use and on which position and time you place it onto your drawing, the effects are totally different, and they are so chaotic sometimes that you don't really understand them. And I just test it out and try, like, why does this area look so different than the other one? And I try to understand how specific patterns emerge. For example, when I do a background and I have the drawing laid down on the table, I can use as many water as I want. None of the water will drip off or flow down, run down the painting. Whereas if I put it on an easel, like I just said, I couldn't do it because everything would run down. So for some effects, I have to put the drawing down on the table so that I can use those abstract layers. And my favorite tip to get the beautiful patterns for backgrounds, for every one of you who is too lazy to make backgrounds like me, what I like is to fill the complete area of a background out with water. Just make everything wet. But I don't go over the figure, just the background. You can also border and contour the figure, cut it out with those water. And then you just use those colors you like to use in the background, but don't just use the colors out of your palette. Don't just use blue or yellow. They are too intense. Mix the colors you like on your palette and then let your brush suck all the colors into it, and then touch the wet area you did on the background. And then the color will be sucked out of your brush and it will immediately spread into this wet area. And then when it dries, the contours of these areas will have a very strong, like, natural contour, and it looks very beautiful. This is one of the techniques I use for my watercolor paintings. And what also looks very beautiful is when you use some golden or some silver watercolor, letting some drips go into those background areas. This is also very beautiful, and when you like tilt the painting in the light, you can see those beautiful metallic effects shine. So this was the painting process of this piece. It doesn't have a title, of course, because I will probably not sell it. I don't know, maybe sometimes, but definitely not now. And I hope you like the process. In the end, I also used oil paint for these washes. I can't recommend it strongly though, because you probably can use acrylic for this too. I just was curious to try it out and see how it works on the paper. So it definitely works, but I think it would have worked better if I would have sealed the painting before I use oils on it, for example with a strong varnish. So I used a spray varnish, but I would have probably needed to have a very thick varnish, something like that, so that the oil paint doesn't get sucked in so much into the paper, what I didn't really like. And yeah, I hope you liked the process. I hope it was interesting for you because of all the different techniques I used and stuff I used on the painting. And yeah, this is the newest painting I'm now working on, which is for the Modern Eden show I just talked about, and I'm pretty confident that this painting will be way better than this one, but maybe better on a different level. So watercolor paintings are extremely beautiful, but you can't get everything with watercolor that you can get with oil paintings, and vice versa. So you can't make everything with oils that you can do with watercolors. So sometimes I really prefer what oils give me, or what I can do with oils, and sometimes I prefer what I can do with watercolors. And for the Modern Eden show, I wanted to have the richness and the realistic impression and like the romantic style that you have when you see old paintings, maybe from Sargent or like the old masters. And yeah, this is for me only achievable when I use oil paints. So next one will be in oil paints. And also, which is super helpful, is to change mediums, especially if you kind of feel that you failed in one medium. Just try out another medium and just get a fresh way of working, get your concentration back, and then when you make something you're happy with, you will probably think, I can do it in the other medium too. So switching mediums is super helpful. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I hope I see you on the next one. Bye bye!